You ever notice how every girl swears she's different? Like it's a blood oath, like it's a prophecy, like it's tattooed on her soul. I mean, listen, I get it. You're supposed to believe you're rare, that you're some limited edition diamond. But here's the cold part. Everybody says they're different until it actually costs something, until it's time to be different in the moments that count. When the lights are off, the cameras are gone, and your ego's not there to protect you anymore. See, being different ain't what you say, it's what you do when you don't feel like doing it. It's how you move when nobody's clapping for you anymore. It's how you love when your pride is bruised and your feelings are telling you to run. Most people think they're built different when really they just dress it up a little better. Because being different isn't about the cute little quirks you post about. It's about how you handle the ugly parts you don't put on the timeline. Everybody wants to be unique until it's time to show up for somebody besides themselves. Everybody thinks they're the exception until they realize how heavy it is to actually carry something real. Everybody swears they're not like the last girl until they start moving. Just like the last girl. When they get mad, confused, lonely, scared. And listen, I'm not here to bash anybody because it's not just women. It's everybody. It's human beings. We all want to think we're the unicorn. We all want to think we're immune to the same insecurities that wreck everybody else. But here's the part nobody wants to admit. You don't really know who you are until you're standing in the fire. And everybody's different when everything's easy. Everybody's amazing when they're getting their way. But the second life says no. The second love gets hard. The second trust requires actual vulnerability. The mask slips. And what you see underneath is usually just fear. Fear dressed up as pride. Fear dressed up as anger. Fear dressed up as, I don't need anybody anyway. And the saddest part is, half the time they don't even know they're doing it. They think they're protecting themselves. But all they're doing is guaranteeing they stay stuck. The truth is, everybody can promise the world until it's time to pay the price. Everybody can swear loyalty until loyalty means swallowing your ego. Everybody can say, I'm different, until life hands them the same test it handed the last person. And they fold the exact same way. You know what makes somebody truly different? It's not the way they flirt or how cute their laugh is or even how much they tell you they care. It's how they show up when you're broken. It's how they act when they're hurting. Too, it's what they choose. When they're scared, tired, triggered, insecure, it's how they treat you when you can't give them anything in return. When the vibe isn't perfect anymore. When loving you costs them something that's the real test. And look, I know it's easier to believe the words. I know it feels good when somebody looks you in the eyes and says, I'm not like the rest. But actions are louder than poetry. And consistency is sexier than promises. And you got to stop falling in love with potential. You got to stop falling in love with ideas. You got to start paying attention to patterns. Because patterns are who people really are. You can't love someone's potential enough to make them real. You can't fix someone who doesn't think they're broken. You can't build a forever with someone who's still running from themselves. And listen, if that hurts, to hear good, it's supposed to hurt. This is the surgery, not the spa. This is the wake-up call, not the lullaby. This is the part where you finally get honest about what you're accepting in the name of hope and about what you're settling for. Because you're scared to start over. Look at me. Starting over is not a failure. Choosing yourself is not a loss. Walking away from almost is not weakness. It's power. It's choosing reality over fantasy. It's refusing to pour your soul into somebody who only knows how to take and take and take and call it love. You deserve more. You deserve somebody who shows up for you. Even when it's hard, even when they're tired, even when their own demons are screaming at them to run, you deserve someone who's done running from themselves. You deserve a love that feels safe, not one that feels like a war you have to win. And I know some of you are thinking, damn, Sam, maybe I'm the one who said I'm different until I wasn't. Maybe I'm the one who couldn't hold it down when it mattered. Maybe I'm the one who folded when I got scared. Good, own that, own it. Without shame, without excuses, without blaming the other person, own it. Because until you do, you're going to keep bleeding on people who didn't cut you. You're going to keep trying to rewrite the same chapter with a different name. Own your shit so you can finally heal it. Listen, healing ain't pretty, it ain't aesthetic. It's brutal, it's ugly, it's crying over stuff. You thought you were over, it's realizing you were the villain in somebody else's story. It's apologizing when you want to defend. It's sitting with your own mess without trying to sweep it under somebody else's rug. That's the real work. That's what makes you different. Not the way you smile, not the way you text, not the way you make playlists. It's the way you choose to love better when you know better. It's the way you hold yourself accountable. It's the way you refuse to keep blaming the world for wounds. You're responsible for cleaning up. It's the way you stay when it's easier to run or walk, when it's easier to stay stuck. Everybody says they're different until life tests them and exposes them and humbles them. And if you're lucky, if you're really lucky, life will break your heart just enough to build it back stronger. Life will teach you who you are through the pain. Life will show you your reflection, not the Instagram version, not the PR version, the real you. The you that either grows or stays small. And at the end of the day, you get to choose. You always get to choose. Be different. Not because it sounds good, but because it costs you something and you're willing to pay it. Not because it's trendy, but because it's true to who you are. Not because it gets you love, but because you are love. And if nobody ever told you this before, I'm telling you now, you don't have to be perfect to be worthy. You don't have to have it all figured out to be lovable. You just have to be honest, be real, be willing to show up even when your hands are shaking, even when your voice is cracking, even when you're scared out of your mind. That's the kind of different the world needs. That's the kind of different that builds real relationships. That's the kind of different that turns almost into always, you're not broken, you're becoming. Don't let the world convince you that your softness is a weakness. Don't let the pain make you cruel. Don't let your past write your future. You're not like everybody else if you choose not to be. And if you felt anything in this, if you saw yourself in these words, even a little, even the part that hurt, even the part you didn't want to admit, then maybe you're already a little more different than you think. And listen, I know it's scary. I know it's terrifying to look at yourself without all the filters, without all the stories, without all the reasons you've been hiding behind. But real love, real life, real growth demands it. You can't be loved for who you are. If you're too busy pretending to be who you think you're supposed to be, you can't build something real. If you're still living like a tourist in your own heart, dipping in and out, depending on what's convenient. Listen, love isn't a hobby. It's not something you just clock into when you feel like it and bail. When you're bored, real connection is built in the boring parts, the quiet parts, the messy parts. It's built when it's not fun and you stay. Anyway, it's built when you're triggered, and your first instinct is to self-sabotage. But you catch yourself and you say, nah, not this time. I'm not burning this one down just because I'm scared. It's not supposed to be perfect. It's supposed to be real, and sometimes real is ugly. Sometimes real is crying at 3 a.m., wondering if you're too much. Sometimes real is choosing to believe in something even when every part of you is bracing for betrayal. But you do it anyway because you finally realize you're not here to play it safe. You're here to live. You're here to love. You're here to be seen, even if it means being hurt. You're here to show the hell up for your own life, and if that costs you your comfort, if that costs you your old ways, if that costs you a few people who were never meant to come with you anyway, so be it. You were never meant to stay small. You were never meant to love halfway. You were never meant to shrink to fit inside somebody else's fear. You're different when you choose to be different, when you choose to stay soft, when the world tells you to go hard, when you choose to stay kind, when life gives you every excuse to be bitter, when you choose to stay loving even when nobody's loving you back. Yet, that's the real flex. And if you hear nothing else from me tonight, hear this. You are not crazy for wanting more. You are not broken for believing love should be better. You are not wrong for refusing to settle for people who only know how to take pieces of you real. recognize is real. And someday, someone's going to see the way you stayed soft, and they're going to thank God every single day that you didn't let this world turn you into stone. Keep going. You're closer than you think.